Hey everyone, Hervin here, and in this video, we are going to talk about how to get more students. So if you're a dance studio owner looking to grow your dance studio, in this video, I am going to share with you what we do inside our company, get more students to help studio owners with increasing enrollment, saving time, and reducing workload. So with that said, let's dive right in. I'm going to be sharing my screen here with the whiteboard. And so the first question that I have for you, if you own a dance studio and you're thinking about, how do I get more students? My first question for you is, how do you normally get more students? So for a lot of studio owners that we speak to, they struggle getting more students and they struggle getting people to know that they exist. They struggle getting people to reaching new people inside their communities, neighboring communities. And so when I ask, what are you currently doing to enroll more students? They tell me, word of mouth is their primary source of marketing. And word of mouth is fine. Word of mouth is actually the best form of marketing, but by itself, it's not enough. Let me explain why. So if you're a studio owner that has been stuck at the same number of students for the past 6 years, word of mouth isn't going to get you to break your plateau. If you are a studio owner who's thinking, man, I want to reach 200 students, 300 students, 500 students, whatever that number is, and you haven't been able to in the past 6 years, word of mouth is not going to help you get there. Word of mouth is fantastic. It means that people love your classes and they're referring you students. But word of mouth, if you have 50 students today, word of mouth by itself, it's not going to help you get to 150 in a couple of months. If you're just going to be stuck there at 50, and you're, with word of mouth, you might progress to 70 by the end of the year, to maybe 100, you know what I mean? But it's not going to, unless you're completely brand new and this is your first couple of years, it's fine. You may grow really quickly, but then you'll find yourself plateauing. So why does this happen? Why does word of mouth, it starts going up, but then eventually plateaus? So here's the thing. Word of mouth might help you increase, your student enrollments by, 10 students per month, 20 students per month, who knows, but about that. And that there comes a point where word of mouth is just, you don't get any more than what you're getting regularly. So it's not like, you were getting 20 with word of mouth and now you're getting 40, 50, 60, right? And so what ends up happening is that the people who are coming in and then you have people who are leaving, that eventually balances out and you end up at a plateau. And so that typically happens for studio owners where they haven't seen any growth in the past couple of years, where they've just been stuck at a certain number and they have never been able to break through it. And so word of mouth is great, but by itself is not enough. So here are the 3 steps that you need to implement at your studio if you want to grow your student enrollment. So the first one, so I'm going to draw here box number 1. This is marketing. Okay, so this is the first thing that you need to focus on. The second thing to grow your studio is you need a way to follow up with anybody who inquires. So we're going to call it here F for follow-up. And then you're going to need an enrollment strategy. So I'm going to put here ES for enrollment strategy. So M for marketing, F for follow-up, ES for enrollment strategy. Okay, and I may forget that later on in this video, but let's talk about marketing first. So when it comes to marketing, a lot of studio owners don't do any advertising, any marketing whatsoever. They just rely on word of mouth. Or if they do market, I've heard things like, I've done mailers, passing out flyers. I've gone to local schools and passed out flyers there, or gone to restaurants and put up flyers over there in their bulletin boards. I've done community events, charity events, parades, free performances, things like that. So those are the kind of things that I've heard. Or sometimes, they might say things like, we've tried boosting a post here and there on social media, or try some Google ads, which these are all great. Now, boosting posts, I would not recommend it. Don't do it. On social media, it doesn't work. And I'll tell you why here in a second. So the first thing when it comes to marketing, what we have found is Facebook and Instagram ads to work well. And the reason for that is because here's the thing about marketing: you have to pay, right? So you're paying to put ads out there. Why this is important? Why is this important? It's because it is under your control. So if you have, if right now with word of mouth, you can't really say, hey students, let's start increasing the amount of the word of mouth that you're doing every single month. Like let's bump that up. You can't really do that, right? Like it's not within your control. You can't really. You could do things like a referral program or something like that that will incentivize it, but you can't really control it. You can try to incentivize it, but you can't really control it. With advertising, on the other hand, if you spend more money, you're going to increase the amount of people that you get shown to, right? So more money, more people; less money, less people. Super simple. So if you know how to do it properly, it means that you can control your enrollment with the amount of budget that you put towards your advertising. So you're able to control your enrollment. That's why advertising is so good. It's because it's under your control if you do it properly. And this brings me to, before I dive into advertising, the reason why it's important to advertise, it's because for a lot of studio owners, the reason why they're not getting more students is because something called obscurity. I'm going to write it here in big so that you can see it. So obscurity is the reason why most studio owners aren't growing. So obscurity just means people don't know you exist. So I don't know if you've ever heard this. People coming into your studio, they tell you, hey, we've been in this neighborhood for such a long time. We didn't even know you existed. We didn't even know you were here. I've driven by this same road for such a long time. I hadn't looked this way. I didn't know that you guys were in this location. So things along those lines. So people that have been around for a really long time in your neighborhood, and you might have been in your neighborhood for a long time and they have never heard of you. That is the problem. That's why a lot of studio owners aren't getting more students, is because of obscurity. So obscurity it's the main problem that we're trying to fight. And in order to solve this problem, you need to advertise. The reason for that, it's because with advertising, you can target people. You can pay to target people around your studio, meaning you can tell Facebook and Instagram, if you know how to do this right, hey, find me parents around my studio who might be interested in taking their kids to dance classes. Or if you own a dance studio for adults, then you could say, hey, find me people around my neighborhood around my studio who might be interested in taking dance classes. So you could do that. And so advertising is really the best way to grow a dance studio, or the fastest way to grow a dance studio, is because you're able to you're able to target people, you're able to get in front of people who wouldn't otherwise know that you exist. Okay, so when it comes to advertising, the main things here are: number one, your copy, your Facebook ads copy or Instagram copy. Number two, in fact, I'll make number one is actually your image or video. Okay, so that's actually the most important thing. The second is your advertising copy. Third, and this is, if you've never ran Facebook ads before, you may not know what I'm talking about here. It's the way you set up your campaigns. So this is your targeting and your tech. In fact, let's just call it your tech setup. So how you set up the campaigns matters a lot. Okay, so those are the three things that matter a lot. There are actually videos in this YouTube channel where I talk about the videos, I talk about the copy that you want to use, and I even show the campaigns and how we set them up. So The image and videos that you want to use, if you own a dance studio for kids, you want to put pictures out there of the kind of kids that you are trying to attract. So if you're trying to attract younger students, then you want to put pictures of younger students. If you weren't trying to attract older, although it's harder, it's hit or miss with those. I've had success, and I've also not had any success putting pictures of older kids. You can try it, see if it works, test it out. So pictures of the kind of students that you want to target. Next is your copy. So your copy is what you say on the ads. And so you can try here saying, just keep it simple. This is what I have found to work best when it comes to your copy inside your advertising, is just saying like, hey, if you own a dance studio for kids, it'll be like, hey, parents near this city, are you interested? Is your kid always bouncing around the house, or does your kid love to dance whenever the music is on? If yes, come check us out. We offer classes for all ages. Click the button below to check us out. Okay. And you can, if it's up to you if you do this or not, but you can offer a free trial. We've seen that to work best, like one free class. And so, yeah, so when it comes to the copy, keep it simple. And when it comes to the images, use the kind of pictures and videos of the students that you want to attract. So if you own a dance studio for adults, I would recommend using pictures of people in class smiling, having fun. And then the copy, you want to make it sound something along the lines of like, hey, if you've always wanted to learn how to dance, come check us out. We offer dance classes for adults, for beginners. Even if you have two left feet, you're welcome to come in. Something, for adults. Adults are usually ashamed of like not knowing how to dance and going into a dance studio. So you definitely want to say that. Also, when it comes to adults, you can also use a couple of different things that you can say. It's like, hey, do you want to burn some calories after work? Or are you looking for a way to meet new people, make new friends? Come check us out. These are ad copy things that you can use. Again, you want to keep the ad copy simple. You want to keep the ad copy simple. So a little bit of 3 sentences, and throw in there the name of your city. So those are things when it comes to advertising that will help you. The campaign and text setup, it's difficult to explain here. You want to set up either conversion or lead advertising campaigns to make sure that Facebook is sending you leads. It's not just about getting the word out there and getting people to like. So it doesn't matter how many people like your ads. All you care about is how many new inquiries are you generating. And so when it comes to your advertising, another important thing too is you want to go and you want to send people from your ad. So from your ad, you want to send them over to a landing page. Okay, so a landing page or a lead form. In fact, let's call it here lead form. This is a place where people are going to give you their information so that you can follow up with them. And so over here, all you're going to collect is name, phone, email. Those 3 things. And so in the lead form, we're collecting name, phone number, and email. We don't want to collect any more information than that. Even if you own a dance studio for kids, you don't want to ask for the kid's age, their birthday, all this stuff, because it gets to be too much. You want to just stick to name, phone number, and email is something that we have found work really well. And the reason why we're sending them to a lead form, it's because anybody who sees your ad, we want them to inquire, not just like see your ad and hope that they come in. So one of the biggest mistakes that I have seen studio owners make when it comes to advertising is they're just boosting a post out there on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, and they're expecting people to just enroll from there. And even if you have done Facebook and Instagram advertising in the past and you're like, man, but it worked. Like I put this ad out there and I got 100 people. I just spoke to a dance studio owner like that thought like, I put this ad out there. She spent like $100, and then she's like, I had 100 people come in. That's not how it works. If you're not able to track to make sure those ads are the reason why people are coming in, that people are seeing the ad, clicking on them, and that they're inquiring and they're coming from your ads, then you don't have an idea, you don't know if it's working. That's part of the problem. And so the reason why we do here this lead form, it's because we are able to track who are the people that are coming in from the Facebook ads. We're able to know exactly, when they fill out the form on the back end, we have this. Facebook gives you the ability to know whether or not these people came from the ads or not. And so that's super powerful. So that way you know whether your marketing is working or not. Okay, and then the next reason why this is powerful is because anybody who gives you their name, phone number, and email, we're going to be able to follow up with them. Okay, so that brings me to the next point when it comes to growing in Dance Studio. So we just talked about, so we have your marketing, and then you have the follow up, which was the next bucket, right? So let's talk about this one for a second, about the follow up. So when it comes to following up, this is one of the most important things that you can do as a business owner, is you want to make sure that you have good follow-up processes. Let's start with the amount of time that it takes you to get back to people. So the optimal amount of time that you want to follow up with anybody who inquires for your dance classes is, so I'm going to write it down here, 1 minute. Okay, so you want to follow up with anybody who inquires for your dance classes within 1 minute. And why is that? Well, number one, they're still thinking about it, right? So if you reach out to them within 1 minute, they probably have dance in their mind. They probably are like, oh, I just saw this really cool dance studio. Maybe my student, my little kid will like it, Susie will like it, or if they're an adult, they're like, oh, you know what? I've always wanted to learn how to dance. Maybe this is a good opportunity to do this now. And so they're still thinking about it. That's the first thing. That's the first reason why you want to follow up so quickly. The second reason for why you want to follow up so quickly, it's because they still have their phone in their hands, right? And so if you follow up with somebody within 1 minute of them inquiring, you catch them. Most people browse the internet on their phones and the Facebook or Instagram on their phones. And so you're going to find that they're going to be much more likely to answer if you follow up with them within 1 minute, because you catch them while they still have their phone in their hands. And so again, this is something that is counterintuitive. Like for a lot of people, when I tell them you want to follow up within 1 minute, they're like, oh my God, but that's really quickly. Is it really that necessary? The answer is yes. 1 minute is what we have found to work best. You catch them while they're thinking about it, while they have their phone in their hands, before they've gone somewhere else. Okay, so before they've gotten a chance to visit your competitor's dance studio, before they've gotten a chance to move on and do something else, before they've got a chance to get busy and move on. So we're catching them here. So we're catching them before they move on to something else, before they call somebody else. You're catching them while they still have their phone in their hands and while they're still thinking about it. So these are all reasons. What we have seen is that if you follow up within 1 minute, your chances of following up, of getting a hold of somebody, versus if you follow up with somebody within 1 hour. Okay, so let's just say this, like 1 minute versus 1 hour. If you follow up within 1 minute, you're 10 times more likely, somewhere around that range. Harvard has this study that you're 10 times more likely to get a hold of somebody. So 10 times more likely to connect. So you're 10 times more likely to get a hold of somebody if you follow up with them that quickly. It's super important for you to do that. Otherwise, you're paying money on advertising and then you are getting all these inquiries. But if you're not following up with them that quick, it's just kind of like wasting money. Okay, so this is something that a lot of people don't know. They just think like, if I put ads out there in the world. And so if I just boost a post or pay Facebook for some Facebook ads, students are just going to magically start pouring in. And the truth is that if you don't follow with people within 1 minute, the results that you're going to get are just not going to be that good. Okay, so 1 minute follow up. And one of the ways that we help dance studio owners do that in our program, for example, is through, and I misspell this, automation. Okay, so this is really the only way to do that is through automation. Automation allows you to set up these workflows that you can then follow up with people within 1 minute. The other thing that it allows you to do is that you can set up automations so that if anybody doesn't respond to you, you can follow up with them. In our program, we follow up with people for 5 days. Okay, so and a lot of people are like, okay, isn't that too aggressive? Like if you follow up with people for 5 days, we send one text message a day for 5 days. And the reason we do that is because oftentimes people inquire, but then they get busy, forget, move on. And so what you want to do is you want to have a way to consistently follow up with people and really think about it this way. They're the people who inquired in the first place. It's not like you're cold calling them, bothering them. They're telling you they're interested. And sometimes people get busy and forgetful. We have found following up once a day, every day for 5 days with a text message, it's the best way to prevent people from falling through the cracks. And we have seen that to get really amazing results. And when you follow up, you don't need to be super aggressive. All you got to do is just send them a question every day. So the question should sound something like, hey, are you still interested in dance? Do you want to come and try a class? Hey, Susan, I saw that you inquired. Don't want you to fall through the cracks. Are you still interested? Hey, is something preventing you from starting? So just questions like that, because that'll get people to respond back to you. The trick with text messaging, that's actually another point that I didn't bring up right this second, but I'll bring it up here in a second, which is text message, otherwise known as SMS. And so I'll talk about that here in a second. But the thing about asking questions is that you're going to get people to respond back to you, and it's not as aggressive, and so something really short every day. You can automate this. So we use in our software, with our software Studio Hub, we follow up with people for 5 days. We ask questions just to prevent them from falling through the cracks. Super, super important, because again, you're paying for advertising. You're getting these inquiries. You don't want to let them fall through the cracks. And this automation is going to prevent that from happening. Now, there will be some people that are going to be upset. They're going to tell you, oh my God, this is too aggressive. You guys are following up too much. What I always tell studio owners is that if somebody complains because of the amount of follow-up that you have, they're never going to be a student in the first place. They had no intentions of signing up in the first place. Because, you're a business. This is what a business does. You're supposed to market. You're supposed to follow up with people to get them to come in. If somebody complains because they got one text message, that's not the right client for you, and think about it in this way. If they're complaining about one text message when they come in and you're going to be sending them reminders about everything, all the things that you have going on at their studio, they're really not going to love that. And so overall, it's just not going to be a good experience for them if they don't like anybody talking to them. And so, with the follow-up, what I normally say, look, if anybody gets upset, just thank them for telling you that they're not the right fit and move on. Don't even pay any attention to them. Don't waste any mental energy on people who complain, just because everybody else is going to love that you follow up. It's going to help you enroll more students. And I promise you, if you don't follow up with people, if you skip on the follow-up because you're afraid you're going to bother people, you're going to lose way more students than if you follow up. Okay, so that's that when it comes to follow-up. Something else is the text messaging. So we use text messaging as our primary way of communicating with people, and we have found that to work best. So A lot of people are like, won't people get annoyed with text? Like I mentioned, those are not the right fit. But mostly, the thing is that phone calls and emails, when it comes to phone calls, people don't like to respond to phone numbers they don't recognize. When it comes to emails, people don't like, I'm sorry, people barely check their emails. The average email open rate is like 23%. And so you're sending emails, and it also, this doesn't even count. Like sometimes it might just get to go, and that email that you send might just go to junk mail, to spam box. And so you can't really guarantee that people are going to see it. So this is why we stick to text messaging, is what we have found to work best. Okay, so when it comes to the follow up, the last thing I have to say is that you want to send people automated reminders. So if somebody, this is if you're using, I'm sorry, if you're offering free trials at your studio, you want to send reminders. And the reason for that is because you don't want to have people forget that they committed to coming in to try a class, and you want to send one reminder the day before. You want to send one reminder the morning of. So the morning of, and then you want to send a reminder 1 hour before. Okay, so the day before, the morning of, 1 hour before. And what you say it's just simple. The day before, hey, see you at the dance studio tomorrow. The morning of, hey, good morning, see you later at the studio. Can't wait to see you. 1 hour before, hey, here's our address. You can include the address on every single text. Some things that we have done is, for this 1 hour before, we have sometimes just sent an image like of the building or something, so that it's like, hey, here's the building, what it looks like. Um, so that's what we do. The day before, morning of, 1 hour before. Those are all things that you can do. So let's do a quick recap here before we dive into the last step. So in order to attract more students, so number one, you need marketing. Number two, you need follow-up. Number three, you need an enrollment. So you need an enrollment strategy. Now, when it comes to marketing, we talked about advertising. That's really the easiest or the fastest way to grow a dance studio, because you can control your ad budget. That's not the only thing that I would recommend. So like you should also focus on your website and organic things. We'll talk more about that, or there's another video inside this channel that talks about how we build websites for dance studio owners so that you can show up higher up in the search results. If you're interested, go check that out. Okay, but for now, we just talked about advertising because it's one of the fastest way to grow a dance studio. Next, the follow-up. Being able to follow up quickly within 1 minute, following up with people who don't inquire for 5 days to prevent them from falling through the cracks, sending reminders if they're interested in coming in to try a class. And then last is the enrollment strategy. So let's talk about your enrollment strategy. So for a lot of dance studio owners that I have spoken to, they don't have an enrollment strategy. So they sort of just rely on or hope that the person comes in, has a good time in the class, and then they sort of just ask themselves like, hey, I want to enroll. And they're sort of hoping that people just enroll on their own. I've even heard from dance studio owners say like, well, I don't want to put pressure on people and like be salesy. If they're not ready to enroll, or if they don't want to enroll, I don't want to enroll them. Or I only want to deal with people who are ready. I don't want to talk to anybody else who's not ready. And that is kind of like I know, because I had that in my mind before, a really long time ago, where I used to think, I only want to speak to the people who are ready. I don't want to waste my time with anybody else. But the truth is like, if you think about, for example, myself, when I first started dancing, I wasn't ready to commit for go all in into dancing and sign up 3 times a week and do all this stuff. I just wanted to try it and see if I liked it. So I wasn't like ready to come in and go all in. So like that's the expectations a lot of studio owners have, which is like, whoa, I only want to deal with the people who are ready, who are serious, who want to sign up, and like this is the activity they want to take on to. I don't want to deal with anybody else. And the reality of it is like for a lot of us, the reason we got into dancing, or the way we got into dancing, is we came in, we tried it, we loved it. Maybe we tried a couple of classes, we fell in love with it, and then we signed up and committed more. But we also committed slowly. It wasn't this, I'm ready to do this forever, which is what a lot of studio owners hope. And so for a lot of studio owners, they're hoping that people are just gonna want to come in and sign up, and they think like, oh, I shouldn't have to sell people or something. The truth is that you have to get people, even though they come in, they loved it, they tried it, you still have to ask them to enroll. So, couple of tips for your enrollment. Number one, the most important one, is ask. Okay, this is the biggest tip that I have for all of you when it comes to increasing your enrollments, is just ask while they're there at your studio. Okay, so if you don't ask while they're there at your studio, you're not going to enroll as many people. And so think about it this way. People took their time to come into your studio. You now have them there. They got to experience how amazing your classes are, the fun environment you created. They get to see you face to face. They get to meet other people who are at your studio. That's when they're the most excited. If you don't take the time to ask right there and then while they're the most excited, the chances of you enrolling this person are only going to go down. Because think about it this way. If they go home, if they go home and then they're outside of the environment, they're no longer, they have to then just remember that they really enjoyed it, and they have to kind of put themselves back in the place back in that mental state where they were when they were at your studio. They have to think like, oh, did I really love this place? Did I not love this place? Oh yeah, I think it was fun. But when you ask people while they're there at your studio, you're gonna catch them while they're in that high, while they're in that, um, they've just experienced your classes, they had a lot of fun. That's when you want to ask. And so for a lot of studio owners, they get shy when it comes to asking here when they're at the studio. So one of the things that you can do is have an offer. Okay, so have an offer. And an offer is just simply an incentive. And I'm going to put these words over here. So you need to have an incentive for people to sign up the day of. Otherwise, people are not going to do it. Or they're not going to have any reason to do it. And so you want to have an offer. So an offer could be, we'll waive your registration fee if you sign up today. We'll give you some merchandise if you sign up today. We'll give you, if you own a dance studio for kids, we'll give you your tutu and ballet shoes, and we'll give you whatever it is that you have, right? So you can say that. We'll give you a bag, a water bottle. We'll offer some sort of incentive. For adults, you can say, hey, if you sign up today, you will waive your registration fee. If you don't have a registration fee, we'll give you $20 off. We'll give you $25 off. So just some sort of incentive for people to sign up. And you don't want to say, hey, if you sign up by the end of the day, you want to say, hey, if you sign up if you sign up at the end of today's class, we'll give you this incentive. So you want to get it in people's mind that there is an offer, and you want to present the offer. Here's the key. You want to present the offer at the beginning when they first come into the studio. Okay, so what does that look like? When somebody comes into your studio, okay, you want to greet them, and in the greeting, you want to present them with this offer. So in the greeting, so how does that sound like? It would sound like this. Like this is how we used to do it at our studio. Hey, thank you so much for coming. My name is Hervin. Really appreciate you taking the time to come here. You're gonna love today's class. By the way, if you guys love today's class and you want to sign up, we have an introductory offer. That's actually, let me write that down. Intro offer. And so, and the reason why you want to call it an intro offer is because you don't want your current students to think like, hey, why are you giving them a discount and you didn't give us a discount? So you want to present it. We have an introductory offer. If you sign up today, we'll waive your registration fee. We'll give you this. We'll give you X. And so that introductory offer is going to give you the excuse that you need or that your team needs in order to ask them later to sign up. So you want to give them in the greeting, hey, what is your name? Susan. Hey, awesome, Susan. My name is Hervin. Thank you so much for coming. You're going to love the classes today. By the way, really quickly, if you sign up today and you want to do this, actually, let me write this down. You want to print this out. You want to have a printout of your offer. And so you want to have an intro offer printout. It's going to look like this. Like you're going to have a sheet of paper and it's going to say, sign up today and save, $50 or $20 or $25, or instead of save and get X. So you want to have this printed out so that anybody, when they come in, you can just say, you have this printed out in the greeting. You're like, hey, what's your name? Susan. Susan, awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Pleasure to meet you. By the way, if you enjoy the class today, we have this offer, and this is where you pull this out. You want to say, we have this offer. We'll waive your registration fee, which is $50 if you sign up by the end of today, by the end of the class. Let me know if at the end of the class, I'll ask you again if you're interested in signing up. No pressure. I just want to put that out there in case you like it and you want to sign up. Does that make sense? Yes. Cool. So now you have their agreement and now you put the expectations that you are going to ask them later. This will remove that kind of feeling. That'll remove the feeling of like, man, I don't want to be too pushy. I don't want to be aggressive. But the reason why you want to do this early on in the beginning is because if you don't, you're going to have a lot of people not even realize that you want them to enroll. You're going to have a lot of people by the end of class and just about to be walking out. And then you're going to say like, wait, we want you to sign up. We have this offer. It's already too late because that's going to feel like a lot of pressure if you wait until the very end to get them to sign up, because you're going to make them make a decision on the spot, which a lot of people don't like to do. So this is why you bring it up ahead of time. You bring it up at the beginning. In fact, let me show you here. So if there is a timeline for, here's when you greet people. And then, so this is the beginning. You want to let people know about the offer right there in the greeting. And then, depends on what kind of studio do you run. If you own a dance studio for adults, then you want to ask them here. You want to ask them a second time here, at the very end. But if you own a dance studio for kids, you want to ask people like 15, 30 minutes before the class is over. Let's just say 15 minutes. You want to ask the second time here. And the reason why you want to do that, 15 minutes instead of like the very end, because at the very end, it gets chaotic. People are ready to leave. They just came in to get picked up. They're ready to leave. New students are coming in. The students that were there in the class are leaving. It's a mess. And so you 15 minutes before the class ends, you want to go up to the parents with the sheet. So you want to come back with this sheet and you want to say, hey, do you still want to take advantage of this offer and sign up today? Do you have any questions? Did you enjoy the class? And so you want to do that and you want to address their concerns before the class ends. Okay, you don't want to wait until the class ends to ask people to enroll. You want to do it right away, 15 minutes before the class ends, even 20 minutes because then it gives you time to handle the objections. It also gives you time to, if they haven't filled out the registration form, actually, in fact, never mind. Let me show you here something. This timeline right here. So when it comes to the greeting, right after the greeting, you want to get people to fill out registration form. So right after the greeting, you're like, hey, we have this offer. You show them the paper and you say, if you guys enjoy the class and you want to sign up, here's the offer that we have. We'll waive whatever. Does this make sense? Yes. Awesome. Cool. Now to get you started, do me a favor and fill out this registration form right here if you haven't gotten them to do this ahead of time. So for a lot of the studio owners that we work with, they send a text message before the parents come into their studio to fill out liability waiver forms. But if you haven't done this, then you want to do this early on at the very, very beginning, because then at the end, when you ask right here if they want to sign up, they've already filled out the registration form. All they got to do now is just give you their payment information. And so, and by the way, if your software doesn't allow them to fill out the registration form prior to them signing up and giving you their payment information, so if they need the payment information, you may just want to just ask them to fill out a paper form. So you might want to just print out a paper form that that has your liability waiver forms and things like that inside of it. Paper, do it with a paper, because you can have a lot of people do this at once. So if you have a lot of trials coming in at once, get them to fill out this registration form before just at the very beginning. So that way, at the end, they've already signed it. You could just ask them here again, hey, do you want to enroll? And if they say yes, then all you do is take their payment information. And so doing this, having this process of asking early on, getting them to fill out the registration form early on, even if it's just a paper form, this is going to set you up for success, because at the end, all you got to do is, hey, do you just remind them of the offer. You already had set the expectations anyway. And now you just got to get them to give you their payment information if they're ready. You'll find that you'll enroll a ton more students this way than if you just sort of don't not ask. So the biggest mistake that people can make when it comes to their enrollment is not asking. If you don't ask, you're not going to get people to enroll. So not asking is the worst thing that you can do. Okay, so ask them. Don't make this mistake. Ask them to enroll. Ask them if they would like to enroll. Show them the offer, and then that's it. But even when you do this, you're not going to convert 100% of the people. Okay, so you're not going to take everybody who comes in and going to turn them into students. So you have to do the last part of it, which is you got to do follow up again. So what we do is just either a call or a text. So SMS here, the next day. Okay, so you want to call or text the next day and just say, hey, did you enjoy the class? How was your experience? We can extend the offer. If you decide that you want to sign up today, we can extend the offer. Just tell them about it, remind them about it. And you want to do that because you want to get the conversation started again, to get people to remember to sign up with you and so on. And you want to be, you want to tell them, hey, lovely to have you yesterday. It was amazing to see you. You did great. The instructor told me you did great in class. Do you still want to take advantage and sign up with us? We'll be willing to extend the offer for today. Let me know. And so you just want to follow up with them. Okay, so those are the steps that in order to get more students. Again, this is not a full exhaustive things of all the things that we do for the studio owners that we help, but this is the main things that you can do to grow a dance studio. So number 1, marketing. Number 2, follow-up. Number 3, you need to have an enrollment strategy. And other things that we didn't talk about in here, for example, for the enrollment strategy, you want to have a script so that your staff members who are in charge of enrollment know exactly what to say, what questions to ask, how to overcome objections and things like that. So there's more to talk about here, but overall, just following these 3 steps of marketing. So setting up Facebook and Instagram advertising campaigns to target students around your studio, following up with those inquiries by getting them to first give you their information. So you need to make sure that you're collecting their information by sending them to a lead form. You want to follow up with them within 1 minute. You want to stay following up with them. If they want to come in and try a class, you need to send them reminders. And then last, you need an enrollment process, an enrollment strategy here where you're telling people ahead of time that you have an offer, and then you ask them at the end. And the biggest mistake you can make is not ask. Okay, so doing those 3 things, following those 3 processes is how you're going to be able to break through your enrollment plateaus, how you're going to be able to grow your student enrollments. This is the same process that we have used for studio owners that are in big cities and tiny towns and everything in between. It works everywhere. So don't think, because some of the things that I've heard for a lot of studio owners is, oh man, I wonder, is this going to work in my studio? This works everywhere. We've had people work with us in the US, Canada, Australia, UK, and it's always the same process, because you need to market to get in front of people. You need to follow up with them to get them to walk in, and you need an enrollment process once they're in to get them to enroll. Super simple. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, always let us know. There's more videos inside our YouTube channel to talk about how to grow a dance studio, so check those out if you haven't. My name is Hervin with Get More Students. If you're interested in growing your dance studio and you would like to talk to us to see if we can help you with this process that I just walked you through, where we can help you set up automations, we can help you set up the advertising so that you don't have to do it, go to getmorestudents.com and book a call there. Happy to walk you through how everything works on our end and see if that is something that you're interested in. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video.